Welcome to Business Nigeria. I am Yemisi Lanre Idowu. Nigeria is set to supply 130,000 tons of roasted cashew nuts to the Walmart supermarket chain in the United States of America. According to the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Ogbe, the export is valued at $7 billion and the export is per annum. The minister said 6 cashew processing factories will be established, each to be sited in Enugu, Imo, Benue, Kogi, Kwara, and Oyo states. And data from the National Cashew Association of Nigeria shows the country exported a total of 160,000 tons of raw cashew valued at $300 million in 2016. Nigeria currently ships the nuts to Vietnam, which in turn roasts and sells to the U.S. market. All right, let's discuss this latest, and joining me to do that is the immediate past chairman, Agriculture Group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Prince Wale Oyekoya. Thank you for your time on Business Nigeria. Yes, with this latest, Nigeria to attain 500 metric tons in 4 years. Yes, let's look at the scenario, the yam export. Many talked about why can Nigeria process that yam and we make more money from that than just processing the raw material to other parts of the country.
Yes, I was one of the opinions that we should be able to add value to whatever we do, because I was able to analyze it that there's something we call pharmaceutical grade starch that you can even produce for the pharmaceutical company, that instead of taking this raw yam to the US or to wherever we are taking it to, we could add value. So the same thing is coming to cashew. Roasted cashew. Yes, to add value, we are going to get more money for the produce than just shipping out the raw produce. I don't want agricultural produce to be like oil and gas that the way we used to be.
Exactly, I was going to talk about that, because looking at the past, yes, we see we export crude and they in turn process it, refine it, and we get it expensive when it gets back to us.
So I don't want our leaders to turn agriculture into oil and gas again. We're supposed to learn our lesson from the oil and gas, and I believe with what the trend that we are having now, that we are going to be roasting the cashew nut and be exporting, I think it's a very welcome idea, and I hope that the government can be able to keep to the momentum and be able to have a very good quality to send out, so that we not be like the other time that most of our produce were being rejected for lack of standard, because standardization is very important. That is why we need to really get up to the show that yes, we are up to the par.
Okay, at the moment, we see smallholder farmers producing about 60,000 metric tons annually, and achieving this 500,000 metric tons, of course, would definitely need a mechanized form of farming. Definitely. And of course, this is what some of the people or the investors have said in this association of cashew production. Now, at the moment, do we have that form of mechanized farming to be able to produce this much that is needed?
Definitely right now we don't, and this is why we be talking to the federal government, through the Minister of Agriculture, that mechanization is the only way out, apart from feeding our population that is rising every day. And you have to understand that Nigerian land and Nigerian produce is one of the best in the whole world. We just need the rightful leaders that have a visionary idea that, listen, with this, we don't need oil. With that, we don't need gas. But with agriculture, which is the largest that contribute more to our GP and our employment, we need to do more about it to really encourage the farmers. Yes, as you said, we don't really have a mechanized farming fully in the country.
But what sort of farming is in place?
It's still in the primitive way. Let me be very honest with you, where individual farmers are still doing it in the old ways. And at the same time, if you look at most of the seed what we have today, of the seedling, we need to improve on it. And if you look at most of the research and development we are having, we really need to encourage them, pump more money for the research and development. Now the money is coming from the United States in order to supply the Walmart. But what about the quality that we are going to be giving to them, so that we can be able to sustain this? And the policy has to be sustainable. We don't want a somersault policy that is going to come tomorrow. They say, no, we are rejecting it because of the way it's being packaged or because of the way it's being preserved. Because preservation is very important. And as I said, value chain is a very key for us to really move forward.
Yes, in as much as we do not want to encourage that mono economy that we have been, of course, we're doing exports now. Let's talk about the markets for cashew nuts in Nigeria? Is there the market on ground for cashew?
Well, you have to understand that half of what we produce we consume, and half of what we consume even perish in the farm because of lack of adding value or processing.
Do Nigerians actually consume cashew?
Yeah, we do, but not in large quantity as with what we are producing. That is why more than half of what we are producing today are being exported out. And with the way everything is going to go, I used to go to most of these big supermarkets. If you see what they are selling to us at the rate of 2,000, 5,000, 3,000, it's very alarming. By the time they buy from us raw, they take it out there and add value, and maybe they put some spices on it and sell it to us in a high price. So we need to do the same thing. That way, most of the big supermarkets importing this into the country will not be able to do it. Once we have it, they'll be able to take it. And with the Walmart, that's the largest chain store that we have in the United States. If we can be able to keep to that momentum, I think we are up to the part.
Okay, yes, we're also talking about earning $200 million from cashew nut production. Talking about these farmers, and of course, as a result of, if we have a renewed government focus on this, we can actually achieve this. But at the moment, how much does cashew nuts contribute to the GDP? Cashew nut production? Yeah,
cashew nut is one of the, apart from the oil palms, is another second largest that is contributing more to our GDP, and if the government can really sustain it, and I think it's being sold for 6,000 per ton in the international market, and locally I think the price is not that much. It's about 300,000 locally. So by the time we export this in, definitely we are going to earn more money, and it's going to increase on our foreign reserve, which is, if you can see that most of foreign reserve have been depleted, so we really need to come back in order to really have more money for our infrastructures and for capital projects in this country. So to me, I think we're in the right proportions to really move forward.
We are in the right proportion. You talked about cashew being the second largest earner for
yes,
the revenue earner for the GDP. What about cocoa?
Yes, cocoa.
Because I know Nigeria was very viable when it came to cocoa.
We are more or less at the back burners now, and we really, there are so many things that the government really need to take one by one. Yeah, cocoa we used to be the largest producer, but Ivory Coast and some other African nations have taken over from even Brazil. Even Brazil have already taken over. So we can still get to the back, but let us start the way the government is doing now. We're just talking about yam, and now we are talking about cashew. Well, maybe next time we talk of cocoa, we talk of rubbers, and groundnut is stay there. We are still one of the best producers of groundnuts in the world. So we just need to get visionary leader that is going to take us out of the wood.
All right, after the break, we'll talk more about this, especially in comparison with countries like India. Countries like India are also doing over 700,000 metric tons annually when it comes to cashew. And when we are comparing, most times we compare Nigeria's economy with that of India. Let's see what India is actually doing right and maybe not doing right. But that will be after this break on Business Nigeria. Do stay with us. It's Business Nigeria on TVC News, and we're talking cashew nut production now for exports to earn revenue from that, and the federal government says the ministry is set to export about 130,000 tons of the roasted cashew nuts to Walmart. Well, at the moment, in comparison now, let's see the data we have. India is doing over 700,000 metric tons annually. Brazil, 500,000 metric tons. Then coming down to Africa, we see Mozambique doing about 400,000 metric tons, while Ghana, just our neighbor here, is doing about 300,000 metric tons annually. Yes, with these figures that we have, before we even get to India, Ghana is just our next door neighbor. What do you think Ghana is doing right to be able to churn out that amount, 300,000 metric tons?
It's just about visionary leaders, as I said. And you have to understand that Ghana does not depend on the oil. We depend on oil that make us to be lazy. But with the way we are doing now, as how we advise our government that since we have market, the market is there for cashew nuts. In fact, it's one of the best seed in the whole world that kills so many things.
Let me just butt in there. If we could be making about $300 million
yes.
on, it wasn't just on these metric tons for 2017. In 2016, we had about, 160,000 metric tons. Sure. For 2016, and we're able to earn about $300 million.
We could earn more than that, as I said, if we put our priorities straight and our government are able to put the right measurement in the place and encourage farmers. And at the same time, we have so many old trees that produce this cashew nut. We need to get rid of them and plant new one. Are we doing that? What are the preparations that we're going to make? It's just like rubber. Once you started fermenting on this rubber, it keeps on diminishing. So the same thing with cocoa. It's getting to the life. The same thing with oil palm. So if the government are really going to do, we need to really have a standard of the kind of
sometimes we can't not always wait for the government. Yes, let's talk about the smallholder farmers. Yes, they are doing great, but what's the level of investment in cashew nut production?
It's very poor. Let me be very honest with you, because as I said, funding is very important to every farmers and everywhere in the whole world. Without funding, what are you going to do? Without hybrid of some of the seed, what are you going to do? If palm oil can be doing good with what we have in Nifort and Benin, I believe we should have the same thing for cocoa and cashew. The way we are going to do it now, especially we are having so many customers, so many people that wanted to buy our cashew because we have one of the best grade. So what I'm just advising government is to really have a very standard, and at the same time improve on our research and development. Most of our research and development are there. The only major one that we have are the IIT or the NIHOT and the Nifort. So the government should pump more money on this thing in order to have better yield and better production from all these things. Yes, it's possible and it's reachable.
Yes, we see some countries indicating interest. Countries like Vietnam, once they actually requested for this export of this roasted cashew nuts. But talking about pumping money, the government might not have the funds to be able to pump into that sector. But we're talking about investors encouraging that private investment. Yes, countries like Vietnam have indicated interest. And as you said earlier, Nigeria has got that fertile land.
Yes.
Nigeria, we always say, is a land filled with milk and honey. Yes, we have that land for this. So what's actually preventing that form of investment?
You have to understand.
You know, I know you talked about the government actually pumping more money into that sector.
See, when I keep on talking about government provide infrastructures to everything you wanted to do. The roads, the security, all kind of stuff. So when I keep on talking about government, the environment has to be conducive. You can see all kind of insecurity that we are hearing between the herdsmen and the farmer. So who is the right-thinking person we going to the farm when the herdsmen are there with AK-47? What are they doing with AK-47? And you are not even armed the farmer. So definitely it's possible, but we just have to really get ourselves together and say, listen, yes, look at the commercial banks we have today. They are nothing to write home when it comes to agriculture. They don't believe in agriculture. And you have to understand that without the Apex Bank and the federal government that's going to see them that every bank should have an agri desk. I'm talking of knowledgeable people to man this place. Then they will understand what the farmers are going through. Because not only the funding, you have to be able to monitor when you give out this money. Most banks does not monitor their clients when they give out this money. These are the impeding problems that we keep on having within the farmers.
Okay, so all things being equal with all you have said, how much do you think cashew nut production export will contribute to the GDP in the next 5 years?
With the figure they are talking about, I think we could make more than that if we get ourselves together, because the more we are producing, the more they are testing it, the more customers will be having. And look at just ordinary Ghana there, they are making more than us. Look at even the Vietnamese that you are talking about, they are even producing more than us, and they still demanding. You understand? Just like US that have more oil than Nigeria, they are still buying at a certain time. So it's all that have to get ourselves together and say, listen, and this thing could create a lot of employment to our people and improve on our GDP and so many things. But the infrastructure has to be there, the environment has to be conducive in order for foreign investors to really come in, because nobody will come and do investment where there's no security, where the road is not good, where electricity is not there.
Wale Oyekoya, Chairman, Agriculture Group of Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industry, thank you for your time on Business Nigeria.